All right, so I'm going to go back over B because we got rushed yesterday, right? Is that what you want me to do? Okay, hang on. I got to fix this. I don't see where my cursor is, and that's going to be a problem. There we go. All right. So to start, when you're given 2 points, and there is one on the quiz where you're given 2 points, you need to start by finding the slope, which is change in y over change in x. You can go either order. If you pick the y's back here, you could do 9 minus negative 6, and then you'd go back and do the x's in the same order. 2 minus negative 4 will be 15 over 6, which reduces by 3 to 5 over 2. How are we doing so far? Okay. Then there's a couple options. I think what we did yesterday in a big rush was we said I have points, so I'm going to use one of the points, and I think we use this one. And then we have this slope. Okay, so we can use point slope form, which is y minus y1 equals m, x minus x1. And we're going to plug in for y1 the 9 from the ordered pair, because this is an x and this is a y. Not losing anybody. The m is going to be this slope 5/2. The x stays an x. Okay, you're replacing only the x1, y1, and the m. And the x1 is going to be this point from over here. Point 1 is a 2. Then if I distribute, 5/2 times 2 is 5, and it was negative. If it wanted y-intercept form, you'd add 9 and have 5/2 x plus 4. Okay, did I get that yesterday? Well, let's finish the question. If it didn't specify the equation, you're done. If it said slope-intercept, you're done. I think this question on the quiz actually says standard form at the end, which is what some of you had trouble with on the homework yesterday, I think. Standard form in the end means we have to get rid of the fractions, and we have to have the x first, and the x has to be positive. A lot of junk. So if I subtract the 5/2 x over to the other side, did I lose anybody there? I didn't show my work, but I subtracted the 5/2 x to the other side. Now, I don't know if I'm going to confuse you, but if I multiply through by a 2, I'm going to get rid of all the denominators, right? But if I multiply through by a negative 2, I'll also take care of the fact that there's a negative out front. Is that okay with everybody? So I'm going to multiply through by a negative 2. Remember, it's on everything. Moira came in and asked me a question this morning, and she did it twice. She forgot to distribute to the y. Don't forget to distribute to the y. Negative 2 times negative 5 is 10, divided by 2 is 5x. Negative 2 times the y is minus 2y, and negative 2 all the way over here, I really should be writing it this way, both sides by negative 2, is a negative 8. Remember, it's okay for everything else to be negative, just not that first term. Some silly mathematician rule. How are we doing? Better? Okay, I'm not going to go so in-depth on these, but I can start them if you need me to. How would you start this one? It says the line perpendicular, so it asks what would the perpendicular slope be? Negative 3/2. And then since it has to go through this point right here, you could use point slope. Actually, you could skip directly to the fact, does anybody know what that point is? 0, 3? Picture where it is when you graph it. It's the y-intercept actually, right? For this, so if it wasn't, you'd have to use point slope, so we can do that if you want. Okay, everybody good with what I did there? Stuck in the x, stuck in the y, put in the... Now, if you rearrange this one, it turns out negative 3/2 x plus 3. It doesn't specify what the equation has to look like, so I'm just going to stop. Are we good? This one says, oh, interesting. Through 1/8 parallel to this line. What's wrong? Yeah, it's in a weird form, standard form, that I can't find the slope real quick. If I subtract the 4x over to the other side and then change all the signs, it would make the slope 4. Do I need anything else from this equation? Did I do something wrong? Oh, what did I do? Yes, this should be a -6. It won't affect anything, but you're absolutely right. Please fix me anytime. All right, so now I subtracted this, changed all the signs. Yes, okay. We need the slope, and it said to do parallel. So the slope is 4. We're going to need that 4, and we need nothing else from this equation. We're done now, because the new line is supposed to go through this point. Can somebody start me out? Y minus -8 or +8 equals 4 is our slope, x minus 1. Okay? And then we could maneuver it however they wanted. Can I just stop there? I'd kind of like to show you one other. Well, I'm going to real quick see if I can do this in my head into this slope. 4x minus 4 minus 8, I think is 4x minus 12. Somebody check me. But I do want to show you that when you got to this point, some of you may have learned it this way. You could put this in for y, this in for x, and the m was 4. Okay, this would be 4. If you subtract 4 over here, you'd have -12 equals b, and you could have just stuck it in here knowing that the slope was 4. Does this feel more comfortable to somebody? You remember doing them that way, solving for b? I can do a couple more that way if you need me to today, just so you see the difference. And if it totally is confusing you, offering you 2 different ways, tell me to stop. All right. This on the homework there's weird. It asks for the perpendicular bisector through 2 points. This is a trick question. I don't think we put one on the quiz. It's not a trick, but it's tricky. To find, if you had a point, real quick, 2, 6, and 0, -8, if you want the line not that goes through those, but goes through the perpendicular bisector, means it goes through the midpoint, right? And is perpendicular. So we're looking for the equation of that red line. We need the midpoint, which we're supposed to know how to do. Somebody tell me real quick. Average the x's and average the y's to find the middle. So are we subtracting? Add and divide by 2. So 2 plus 0 over 2 would be 1. 6 plus -8 over 2 would be -1, if I did that right. Anybody complaining about my ability to find a midpoint? I think I did it right. All right, the slope. We need the slope between these 2 points. So -8 minus 6 over 0 minus 2 would be -14 over -2 or 7. But if we're doing a perpendicular bisector, it needs to go through the midpoint here, which was 1, -1, and be perpendicular to the other line. So what are we going to use instead of 7? A lovely -1/7. All right, so now to write the equation. I'm using this x and y and this m. So I would have y minus -1 or +1 equals -1/7 x minus 1. Do you remember what the homework asked you to do with it? Does it ask you to put it in standard form for this one? It's like the very last questions on there. Write the equation of the perpendicular bisector. It doesn't say how. Okay. So I guess I should not be picky about how, right? Okay. If you subtracted 1, anybody know what 1/7 minus 1 would be? Thinking -6/7. Anybody agreeing with that? 1/7 minus 1. No one is good at fractions. Do you want me to do standard form just to practice or not? All right, so we finished the notes. Is there one that you still think you can't do on the homework? Or you want to give it another shot and we'll answer more questions on Monday? We okay to do the new stuff and then I can go back and answer questions if we have time at the end again? How's that? Okay. Worksheet 5. So today we're going to practice more of this equation of a line through 2 points. And we're going to do this. We're going to write a linear equation from an application and use it to predict a value. Okay. Everybody find worksheet 5? Anybody missing it? Need a copy? We all good? Do you have this on your worksheet or did I just... It just says when you're trying to write an equation of a line, you're going to find a formula for the function and clearly convey your results using appropriate units and answer in full sentences when appropriate. You need labels on some of your answers today, okay, because they're applications. All right, let's try problem 1. Can you see that? So in 2004, a school population was 1,001 students. By 2008, it had grown to 1,697. Assume the population is changing linearly, in other words, at a constant rate of some kind. How much did the population grow? So that's an easy question. It just wants to subtract. Who's got their calculator out? Actually, I think we might be able to do that one in our head. How many more students joined their school? 696, is that right? I almost said. And that would be students. B says, how long did it take to grow from that to that? 4 years, right? Just 2008 minus 2004. So what is the average growth per year? So what are we doing there? 690, is it 6? Okay, that you're fine. Divided by 4. Does that come out nice? I have no idea. 1, 7, what is it? Okay. And the label on that one? Students per year. Good job. Okay, what is the population in the year 2000? Okay, some of you could figure that out by starting with 2004 and going backwards. We're going to write an equation. He's actually here and he went to the right schedule, he said, so thank you. We're good. Okay. Yes, he is here. Do you do it in No, okay. Only 4th period for me is AB. Yep, thank you, sorry. That's my fault, I should have realized it was still out there. My bad. Thank you. All right, it says here we have to find the equation anyway, so let's just find the equation, okay? Oh, but it wants years after 2000. That's okay. What are the 2 ordered pairs we could use right now? No idea? If X is going to be the years after 2000, and Y is actually P, it says, the population. I'm sure I'll use Y. I'll forget to use P, and that's fine on your homework too. I don't care. But, oh, and it said use T here for years. All right. Anyway, you get the idea. I had the wrong variables. So how many years after 2000 did we start this word problem? 4. And at that time, the population was? Okay. And our second ordered pair then? 8 and 1697. Now, did we already find the slope? 1697 minus 1001 over 8 minus 4. Wasn't that this number right here? We already did all that work. So the slope is 174 students per year. And we need to find an equation. Is it okay if I use X and Y, guys? So Y equals Actually, I can do it that way, but this is the slope and we need to use a point. Which point do you want to use? Okay. You want to use point slope? Y minus, what's the Y value? Equals 174 times X minus the X value of 4. Okay. Solve that for Y. You need to get up and grab a calculator, go right ahead. Anybody get 304 for the intercept, or did I do something wrong? Oh no, I did something wrong. 305, yep. I got 305 too, I just can't type on my calculator. Anybody not getting 305? All right, so what we were probably supposed to write for part E is P equals 174 T plus 305. I would be perfectly fine if you wrote Y equals 174X plus 305. All right, so what was the population in the year 2000? Nobody? Not making sense. How many years after 2000 is that? So we're looking for the ordered pair 0 something, right? So if you put in a 0, what are you going to get? 305. Because this is the year 0, so it's actually the y-intercept, so we already found it. It's 305. Good job. Some of you figured that out. Some of us needed to think it through. Now they want to know what would it be in 2011, so what are we going to put into our equation for that one? We're going to put in an 11. 174 times 11 plus 305. 2219, anybody? Okay. So the last answer, right, squeezing in here is 2219 students. I always type students wrong on the calculator. When I'm typing, I always type it as stud nuts. Stud nuts. Okay, so stud nuts. All right. A phone company. There's a question like this on the quiz. Has a cellular plan where you pay a flat monthly fee and a certain amount of money per minute. If the customer happened to talk 410 minutes, they would be charged $71.50. I'm just kind of guessing that this is what we're going to need here. If they talk 720 minutes, then they're going to pay 118. Oh, it says start out with the equation. Okay. So we have to write the equation through those 2 points. What do you want to do first? Slope. There we go. Good job, Kayvon. Kayvon, am I saying it right?
Yep.
Thank you. 118 minus 7150 over 720 minus 410. Someone go fast. It won't be me. I got 4650 over 310, which is not bad. 4650 divided by 310. Anybody get 0.15? You guys aren't old enough to have used any of these phones, are you? Did you have a flip phone ever? Remember our parents who had a flip phone? Okay. All right. What does that mean? It's the part B says interpret the slope and intercept, but we just found the slope. What does that mean? Perfect. Per what? The 0.15 is 15 cents per minute, because that's what these were, right? These were minutes and these were dollars. So when we did slope, we did dollars per minute. All right, we didn't finish writing the equation though. You want to use point slope, or you want to try my other method, or point slope? Which point do you want to use? Y minus 118 this time equals, the slope was what? 0.15, and because we used this point down here, we're going to need x minus 720. Okay, do some finagling real quick. 720 times 0.15. I got 108, I think. I'm supposed to get new glasses, and I think it's becoming an emergency. I can't see anything. Anybody get 10 then? Okay, so that's the equation. Did they tell us what letters to use? They really didn't, did they? So we can just use y and x this time? Okay, we're supposed to interpret though. This is the slope. What else do they want to know on B? Yep, which is the y-intercept, which, anybody know what that $10 represents back in the story? Yeah, it would be if you chalked 0 minutes, right? Think about, it's always 0 something for the y-intercept. So if you talked 0 minutes, you'd still have the flat fee that it talked about up above of $10. Now we're supposed to figure out, last part, what if we talked 687 minutes? So we just do 0.15 times 687 plus $10. I didn't write that very well. Can you still figure out what I meant? I got 113.05. Anybody? All right, is this starting to make sense? Feel a little bit better about finding an equation of a line? I know yesterday was kind of like, she's going fast, I don't know what she's doing. Did anybody need more on that slide? I got 113.05. Good, Connor. All right, the moose population, blah, blah, blah. What is this? Write a formula. What does it predict? I'm going to skip 5 for now, okay? Because it's just like the one we just did. You would start with what ordered pairs, though? You could use 1991 and 4360, or you could say I want to use years after 1990 and start with 1, comma 4360, but it doesn't specify, does it? Anywhere in the problem, I don't see where it says. So you could use 1991 and 4360, and then use 1999 and 5880. If you did it this way, then at the end, you would have to put in what? Yeah, the full number, 2003. We can come back if we have time, but it's just like the one we did, so I'm going to keep going. Number 7 says the Federal Helium Reserve held about 16 billion cubic feet of helium in 2010. It's being depleted about 2.1 billion cubic feet per year. Give a linear equation. So they just gave us 2 items of information. Can we write an equation already? The reserves currently held how much? Or in 2010? 16 billion. But it's doing what? Depleting, so going down. 2.1 cubic feet per year. What do they want us to use for years? T? Or negative 2.1 T plus 16, whichever way you want to write it. So what will it be in 2015? What are we putting in though? Yeah, just 15, right? Because it says year, oh no, not 15. It says years since 2010. Yeah, so we want to put in t equals 5 and see what we get out. 16 minus 2.1 times 5. I got 5.5. Anybody? 5.5. What was it? Cubic feet? Feet with a little bitty 3 up there. Squeeze that in. If the rate of depletion doesn't change, when will they run out? Anybody know how we'd figure that out? We need a 0 somewhere. What do we want to be 0? The reserves, yep, the R. We want to be 0 left of the, I don't know, it doesn't matter which equation I use, I guess. So 16 divided by 2.1 is like 7.6 years. Now, that doesn't say when, really. How would we figure that out? After 2010, right? So about, I'm going to say sometime during the year of 2017, right? Or by 2018, as we're adding that to this. No more helium balloons for prom, I guess, huh? All right. When hired, oh, this question, I don't know if, I think it might be on the quiz. When hired at a new job selling jewelry, you're given 2 pay options. If you decide to pick option A, you'd get a base salary of $17,000 a year with a commission of 12% on all your sales. So your total income would be how much? Plus, you can't have a percent symbol in your equation. There, we nicely done. These are geniuses. Of X, I'm going to use X instead of S. My S's look like 5s, I'm sorry. Where X is the amount you sell, okay? Option B says you could do what? 20,000 plus what? No, I'm missing a 0. Apologize. 0.05% of your sales. Everybody okay? Then it says, how much jewelry would you need to sell for option A to be better, bigger? So can we do it as an inequality just for a little review? Option A, bigger than option B. So what do you want to do? Can move any one of those numbers first. Which one do you want to move first? Can I subtract the 0.05x? That would leave 17,000 plus 0.07x is greater than 20,000. Then what? Why can't I write 20,000? I keep writing 2,000. Subtract 17,000, 0.07x is greater than 3,000. Is that right? Divide 3,000 divided by 0.07. Get a goofy number, 42,000 and something? What is that telling you? This one would be better. Yes, you'd have to sell, right? That was sales. X was sales. If you sold more than $42,857.14 worth of jewelry. That makes sense? So this was a little tricky because we had to write 2 equations and then set them equal or greater than or whatever. Is there one more example or no? Okay. Did I need to go back? Did I go too fast? We good? What time are we done? Oh, so I'm okay. I didn't run out of time yet. Okay. Median home sales in Mississippi and Hawaii adjusted for inflation are shown below if we assume that the house values change linearly. So in 1950, a house in Mississippi was worth this, and in 2000, it was up to this. Hawaii, 74,000, grew all the way to 272,000. Okay. In which states have they increased at a higher rate? Can we guess that? Looks like Hawaii, right? How would we figure that out, though? Because I think we're going to need those answers in a minute. Yeah, can we use, let's call this year 0, and this would be year what? 50. So if we wanted to write ordered pairs, and I'm not really suggesting we need to do it this way. Is Mississippi MI, MS? Anybody know? I thought Michigan was MI. Okay, I'm going with MS. We would have year 0. Oops. I'm going with nothing because I have my eraser. Year 0, it was 25200, and year 50, it was 71,400. And for Hawaii, which I also don't know, HI, well, it's capital, right? Anyway, it would be 0,74400 and 52,72,700. Okay, that looks really bad. I shouldn't have put a comma there. Anyway, sorry. So we're really finding the slope, but change in X is just 50 years, right? So can I do this without writing out a whole bunch of work? Subtract these two numbers and divide by 50 years, right? That's how much it went up. 71,400 minus 25,200, and then divide by 50 years. $924 per year. I'm going to write M equals, so you remember we did the slope, basically. Is anybody following what I did, or you need me to write out the steps? Just tell me, give me a big nod if you want me to write out what I did. Okay? All right, and on this one, for Hawaii, if that went up from 272,700 minus 74400 divided by 50 years, almost $4,000. Did someone get 3966? This is per year. So higher rate is definitely Hawaii, right? If the trends were to continue, what would the median home value in Mississippi be in 2010? We could write an equation, or we could do what? It would be 60 years in, right? Or 10 more years added onto this. So we either have to write an equation, or we have to figure out how to add 10 more years onto this. The equation is actually very easy because we already know the slope, right? I'm going to just use Mississippi equals, what's the slope for Mississippi? $924 per year. I'll just use X. Per year after what? X equals years after, what did we use as 0? So, plus, do we know the intercept? Why do we know the intercept? The intercept is when X equals 0, right? What did we call when X equals 0? 1950 is, yep, the 0. So it's actually the starting value of the homes was this, right? This number right here. This is going to be our B value for our equation because we called it year 0. All right, so now put in a what? 60. 924 times 60 plus 25,200. I got 80,640. Oh, is this B? All right. For C, it says, when would they be equal? Is that right? Will be or were they? Okay. So we're going to set them equal, but first let's come up with a Hawaii equation. Hawaii is growing how fast? Starting at, what's 0? But the value, 74,400. Okay. So set them equal and solve. I don't have much room. 924x plus 25200 equals. Might come out, I don't know, just weird answer is what they're saying, like negative or something. But I'm probably going to type this wrong, 74400. 52 924 366. Maybe at negative 16.2, roughly. No? Yes? Okay. So what does that mean? What did we write x equals at the beginning of this question? X equals years after 1950. So what would negative 16 years after 1950 mean? 1950 minus 16 is about 1934. No, or same, it's not actually the same value, is it? Yes? Median homes would be the same value. Anybody know why that's ridiculous? It's not really ridiculous, it's just weird. Hawaii wasn't a state in 1934. Just because I'm old and know that. All right, are we done? Okay, so your homework is worksheet 6. Now, on the assignment sheet, it says on worksheet 6 you only do 4 problems, but it might be most of what's on worksheet 6. Anybody have worksheet 6 out? It says 4, 8, 12, and 20. Is that pretty much all that's on there? They get to skip 6 and 2? Okay. So you have to do 4, 8, 12, and 20. I just cut those out of a book, and that's why they're numbered weird. Sorry. All right. I have a minute and a half. Did you want me to go back and do a question off the homework or anything? We okay? Happy weekend. Good luck tonight. You just have a scrimmage, right? And all the fall athletes are going to be announced, including, are they doing the bowling team or not? They should be doing the bowling team, right? National champions. All right, so Monday we have one more section to cover, and you will need a graphing calculator Monday for sure, okay? One that you're going to be comfortable doing your homework on. We're going to learn to do line of regression. If you already happen to have had AP Stats, it'll be an easy lesson. And I'm going to hand you the review for Wednesday's quiz Monday, okay? So that you can be prepared to ask questions on Tuesday. Did you need to borrow one for the new year? Yeah, then just check out. You're fine. You're fine. Is anybody want candy? There's candy. Even open some different candies. Here, I'll open this bag. Thank you. There's a few Smarties to start with, yes, and then end at y equals. Okay. Yes. 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 Scope it or something. Well, you can do it, and that's the thing I showed like one example of today, but I didn't really teach it that way. So, okay. Yes, I think so. Yep. Sorry. I just got behind yesterday. I apologize.